Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Before Our Friends Die. You're joined by me, Kavan.
Me, Rash.
And our special guest, Danny Mirza. So Danny, this episode is titled 10 Tips from a LinkedIn Guru to Supercharge Your LinkedIn. Now, first of all, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
All you got to do, if you're an audience member right now, is check out Danny Mirza on LinkedIn and you'll understand why we got him on. Because his LinkedIn is top tier. We're talking engaging content. We're talking loads of content.
We're talking premium.
We're talking LinkedIn Premium.
Hey.
That's how you know he's the right guy to have on right now. LinkedIn Guru is what we've called him. And he's got top 10 tips for you to supercharge your LinkedIn. So without further ado, let's get into number one.
Perfect. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. So now that the salutations and the formalities are done, let's get down to business, as they say. I think before I go for number one, I think let's just talk about my journey, how I started on LinkedIn, because this is important.
Yeah.
So apparently, when I completed my MBA 2014, I was like, I got a gold medal for my MBA, and it was proper. And one of my career consultants at that time said, "Oh, this means nothing if you don't put it online." I'm like, where? Should I put it on Instagram or something, or Facebook?
Yeah.
It's like this new thing, like this LinkedIn stuff, like go online, make this profile on LinkedIn and just put it there. And they said, your achievements will not be validated and means nothing if it's not on LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, let's just go to LinkedIn. When I joined LinkedIn in 2014, all people were doing was putting their achievements, their new jobs, their promotions. I was like, why the hell everyone is so successful?
Yeah.
So maybe they were using it wrong. Fast forward to 2023, it's very, very different now. I think it's a platform for personal branding more than anything. 100%. So let's get down to number one now.
Let's go.
I think to challenge the assumptions that people have about LinkedIn, you think LinkedIn is very, very professional. If you ask a student,
100%,
yeah, they're like, it's very professional. Am I professional enough for LinkedIn? I'm like, what does the word professionalism even mean? It's relative. It's relative. So apparently professionalism would mean very different for bankers. Could be very different for the gaming industry. So when it's relative, use that to your advantage. Know your audience and then put stuff and then come on LinkedIn. So hence it becomes much more easier for you to be on LinkedIn. It's not very, very professionalism. It is all about professionalism. Anything goes on LinkedIn. One of the examples that I always give to students is, and it's satire, but it definitely makes sense, is that you would post a picture of a donut on Instagram. I love Krispy Kreme. You would share it on WhatsApp. Do you want to have a donut? Or put your recipe of a donut on Pinterest, like everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Would you do that for LinkedIn? You would never share a picture of donut. What if I tell you can? All it requires is a business work-related context.
Right.
Anything can go.
I was going to butt in there because I've seen it myself. I just got donuts for my colleagues or anything. Like, I've seen it. I've seen the change.
Yeah.
Since probably 2014, as you mentioned. I've seen the change.
It is. It's called normalizing LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is being normalized by all the millennials and borderline Gen Zs and Gen Zs themselves. I think they're normalizing it. You see a lot of influencers,
100%.
proper TikTok influencers now being on LinkedIn. Yeah. And hence they have started this movement of normalizing it. So you could share a picture of your donuts on LinkedIn with a business context. You would write something like, I would want to operate a donut franchise. Maybe my top skills are donut production. I work for Krispy Kreme and I love making donuts. So all it requires is a context.
Yeah.
So that's number one for you. You think it's very, very professional. It's not. Anything goes on LinkedIn. It's normalizing.
Anything goes.
Anything goes on LinkedIn.
Wicked. So number two.
Number two. A lot of the students, when I talk to students in my university, they think LinkedIn is just a longer, extended version of their CV. Whereas it is, but it's much, much more.
Okay.
It's a platform for personal branding. That's what they're missing here. So apparently they think recruiters would go on LinkedIn just to see what's already on their CV. So what's the point? What's the point of having another CV?
I used to think like that as well, to be honest. But I think with all the statuses, posts, you can put a person behind that page.
Exactly my point. Because nowadays it's such saturated market. Every other person would have a bachelor's degree. It is a saturated market with the backlog of all the COVID people who could not find jobs.
Yeah.
It's like a huge backlog of graduates.
100%.
One job would have like 100 people applying. Everyone would have a first in their degree, or even a 2-2 or 2-1. All of that is irrelevant now. So this platform, LinkedIn, is basically to show exactly the person behind the credentials. Who are you as a person? Stuff on your CV and your education and experience section on your LinkedIn tells me you are a great person for the job.
Right.
But are you a great person to work with?
Yes.
Are you a good colleague? What values do you bring in? Who are you as a person? Tell me your why. What's your why in your life? Don't tell me you got a first. I ask this question every single time when I go to students. What's your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you studying accounting and finance? And they're like, it would lead me to a good job. I'm like, that's very materialistic of you. But never say that to employers. Because it has great career prospects. I'm like, come on.
That's, you know what? That's the standard stuff I've used on my CV a while ago.
But there you go. I know everyone does that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make you stand out in the market. The problem is they are looking for the why of your life. The purpose. They know a lot of millennials and Gen Zs are purposepreneurs. This word, purposepreneurs. They live and breathe their purposes. So if you go into the market now and just say, I'm an accounting and finance graduate, no value in it. So please do not use LinkedIn as just an extended version of your CV. Tell us your why. Brand it.
It's very interesting because I remember specifically sitting in graduation and I thought, wow, everyone in this room's got a degree. I thought I was special. And it was on graduation day when I realized, oh my God, I am one of many. I need to do something else. I need to do something else that is going to make me stand out. So I went to live in China for a year, but that's another episode for another day. But you need something because you're right. You need to know your why. Otherwise, you're one of many.
You're one of many.
You're disposable.
Why do you work in EDI? Why do you work? You always need to have a story. And now what? I think the biggest advice I give to students is it's tough to come up with a why. A lot of students haven't given it a thought, which is fine. They were thrust into this degree because of their parents or because of any societal pressures. They started a degree, right? They needed something to do something to study in a university. They did that. But in these 3 years while you're studying, you could come up with the why and then own the why. Because I do go and ask the students, okay, you're studying accounting and finance. Do you love numbers? Like, yeah. I'm like, do you enjoy calculations? I'm like, yeah. They're like, perfect. That's your why. So come up with a story that, since my early childhood, I was one of those people who love to number crunch. I'm a number cruncher. I love data. I love analysis. Narrative. Build a story around what you love to do. And that's your why. So I always say, fake it till you make it. Like, if you don't have a why, come to me or just go to any person who listens and tell them about your strengths. And you will realize maybe your strengths is the why you're looking for. So basically have a conversation with a guru, with a mentor, with anyone. I'm always more than happy to help anyone from wherever they are from, irrespective from this university or anywhere I work. I'm on LinkedIn. Message me on LinkedIn. Tell me your strengths and I'll make a why for you.
Wicked. There we go. There's an offer there on the podcast. Reach out to Danny and he'll tell you your why.
Perfect.
I was going to say, how do people project that? How do they project it on the LinkedIn?
What does it look like?
Is it statuses? Is it posts? Is it pictures? What are the things they need to do to...
And that is exactly my number 3.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yes. Which is, where would you do that? How can I see your why on your profile? The top half of your profile needs to be top notch. That's tip number 3.
The picture and the background.
The background, which is the cover photo, and the profile photo, your name and the headline. These 4 things is the top half. Just like newspapers, they're folded.
Yeah.
The reason they have those big headlines on the folded half is because they need to attract people to pick it up.
Okay.
So when somebody opens up your profile, will they pick your profile up and scroll down? That decision of scrolling down is made on what they see in the top half. So that is where I need to see your why. And the biggest problem that I see with the top half, a lot of people don't even have a cover photo. Cover
I don't
photos.
think I've got one myself.
There you go.
I
Can you imagine cover photos?
Yeah.
That's the largest LinkedIn real estate on your profile. That's the largest place. And you leave it empty. People pay billions of pounds for those Times Square billboards. That's your personal marketing billboard.
So, Danny, on the banner topic, on my Canva, I've got a draft, yeah? And it's the 3 pictures that we use for the 3 separate shows on the akhi&saltfish digital network. And it's like 3 shows, 2 hosts, 1 network is the vision, yeah? I'm not sure. Right now, it's not on there. I'm not sure whether it should go on there. Is that the sort of stuff that would go on there, do you think?
Exactly. So I could give 3 strategies, very easy for our listeners and viewers.
Go for it.
Because cover photos, they're like, what to put there?
Yeah.
I was just thinking now.
The best number 1 strategy is your expertise. So if you are studying accounting and finance, you just go to our lovely Google and Google Images and write accounting and finance wallpapers HD and see what comes up. Something around calculations, financial statements would come up. Put that as your cover photo. It's good for 2 reasons. Algorithms, artificial intelligence can absorb information from cover photos nowadays. So whenever a profile is reviewed, the first thing it reviews is the cover photo.
Right.
And it would pick up all those calculative stuff and all those things from the picture and consider the person to be very into accounting and finance. And whenever a human beings look at us, maybe a recruiter would look at your profile, they would be like, yeah, accounting and finance, it's all about perception. So the first thing they see on your profile before your photo even would be your banner and be like, okay, accounting and finance, numbers. The person loves numbers. It's all about perception. I think before I go ahead, I always say this to my students. They come to me, Danny, what is my reality? I tell them, your reality is not what you think you are. Your reality is the perception of you in other people's eyes. Wow. We don't live in isolation. Decision makers, everyone, people in power, whoever you want to impress to get ahead in your life, from interviews, how do you get a job? Perception. The potential that you show them in the interview gives you the job, because your CV and all the credentials might just be the same. What is that gets you the job? Potential. That promise. What is promise? An abstract concept. It is their perception and impression of you that you would be able to do this in the future. So when somebody comes to your profile and looks at the cover photo and it's all accounting and finance, they think, wow, this person really believes in his or her skills.
Yeah.
So that's strategy number 1. Number 2, a place where you aspire to work. Accounting and finance people, or if it's psychology, anything. A place which defines your profession. Is there a mecca of your profession? Accounting and finance would be Canary Wharf. Everyone would love to work there.
Yeah.
People in health, they usually put up pictures of hospitals and stuff. People in mental health and all, they would put pictures of even them talking to people. There you go. That I am very empathetic and I talk to people. So maybe a place where you aspire to work in. And the third strategy is what you exactly said: brand yourself. That's what I have done. If you go to my profile, you see I've branded myself. Have another picture of you. Talk about all the speciality and your why in your cover photo. So these are 3 strategies: the field, the place, or just brand yourself if you can.
So for the record there, we will put Danny's LinkedIn profile in the show notes below, so make sure you check that out. You were touching on there about the perception of self and how people see you, which is, for me, my brain is ticking because my degree is sociology. So one guy who comes up in sociology all the time when we talk about how people see us is Erving Goffman. And he talks about life being dramaturgy. So effectively, there's the backstage and there is the stage. And often we are defined by how people see us on the stage, and people don't know the behind the scenes. And the impact of that is massive. So as much as people shape how you see yourself, you can also shape how people see you and use that to your advantage using those tips that Danny's suggesting there.
Exactly. I highly agree with that. And I think we see that a lot on Instagram and stuff, and all those philosophers on Instagram, they say your only competition is yourself. I'm like, which is fine, and then you would turn into you 2.0 and all. I'm like, perfect, but why are you doing this? Because you want to compete in the market. You always become a better version of yourself for something, and that for is always with other people. So no matter what these Instagram people would say to you, compete with yourself, be the best version of yourself, but remember, if that best version of yourself cannot be translated into a brand and other people don't see that you 2.0, it's of no use.
What are we on now? Tip 4?
Tip 4, yeah.
Tip number 4, I think, let's talk about profile photos, because a lot of people start their LinkedIn accounts. That's the first thing. They ask you, put up a picture.
Yeah.
So first of all, please have a picture.
Okay.
Don't have a ghost profile. People have students at times, they have a ghost profile. They have their names, they have their education, but it's like no face. Like proper, they're hiding. So have a picture. The biggest problem they see is they see a lot of influencers and people have DSLR quality, high definition pictures.
Yep.
I say you don't need that. Every single phone made in the last 3 to 4, 5 years has a 2K camera, the back one, not the selfie one. 2K camera in the back, every single phone has that. So use that camera. All you require is good lighting and a smiling face. You take that picture, perfect. And in the way you want to dress, again, brand yourself. Look at your audience. Don't go after professionalism. Should I be dressed well? Should I be wearing a suit or or a tie or something? No, don't. Never put yourself under that pressure to impress people like that. I see these things when you need to manage your perception in other people's eye. But that does not mean people pleasing. No, that means that you manage the impression that other people have of you as you are. Your brand is nothing you can fake. It has to be original. So you were saying something.
No, I was gonna say, because what you just said there, I've got a tie, I'm in a shirt, I'm in a waistcoat, I think I'm in a suit, and I think Kavan, if I'm right, are you in a shirt and tie?
Don't try.
Yeah, shirt and tie as
Don't try
well.
and throw me under the bus.
I think we got into the same concept as professional. You have to do it. Wouldn't say we're not ourselves, but
Put it this way, yeah. You can't see me on camera, but right now I'm wearing a Nike t-shirt that says training across the top. I'm wearing jeans and trainers. This is generally what I wear to work, right? Danny, you'll attest
Exactly.
to that.
Yeah.
But it's not my LinkedIn.
There's
and
not-
right now I'm wearing a shirt, jumper, and some trousers.
And that is the problem. What the problem is, when you don't put up the real version of yourself on LinkedIn, that is building a wrong perception, because that's not how you'll show up every day on work. See, what's the point? And that's false promise. And that is the problem. That's false marketing, as they say. You'll be guilty of false marketing.
Hey, I just saw your LinkedIn. You got a shirt on. Why are you in a t-shirt?
T-shirt, yeah.
I've only got one shirt, man. I got to wash it.
I think that's what I say. So, on my point of using your phones as the camera, take a picture. And there's this website called pfpmaker.com. It can help you add a background to your photo for free.
Right.
So all of this debate on have a neutral background, or you can't take pictures in rushy places. Take a picture. Smile, please smile. I'll give a reason as to why you need to smile, and you'll be surprised to know. So you need to smile in the picture if you could, and just go to PFP Maker and it would give you a background. Have a colored background. Use the psychology of colors to your advantage.
And again, we'll put that in the show notes below. PFP Maker. Yeah.
pfpmaker.com, and use psychology of colors to your advantage.
I've noticed that as well, to be honest. Recently, on my LinkedIn, is like, for example, loads of companies. There was another practice. I think they've gone to like a different branding stuff. Now all their profile pictures, everyone who works there is like light blue, in your face, and everyone's matching. So I guess the same thing,
So
isn't it?
the matching element is because they are on brand and they represent that company, but everyone has a color on the background. There are two reasons. Whenever somebody comments on some profile, you see people which have
stands out.
backgrounds, those comments pop up in your eye.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
does.
psychological thing.
Yeah.
People with having a colored background to their pictures, they pop up.
What's the best color?
I think the answer to that is
Red.
any color. Any
Oh,
color could be
okay.
best. Color depends on what branding do you have. So colors have some values attached to it. There's a whole research piece done on it by so many researchers. Roughly on the top of my head, I would say, so if you choose red means raw energy, proper spontaneity, all the time, action. There you go. If that's what represents you, have that color. I'll give my example. So recently I changed up my brand to purple. So purple, the values associated with purple is wealth. So for me, what I'm trying to show is wealth of knowledge, increase, and employability.
Okay.
It shows stability, and it has some hints of red in it, which means energy is still there. And it shows a proper luxurious brand. So what I've turned myself into is now basically from a proper action-oriented, spontaneous guy into a more stable and wealth of knowledge kind of a guy who now has all of that, can always do all the action stuff, but now is like at that luxurious stage of my life where I would say my knowledge that I share is the luxury level of careers and employability knowledge. See, and I'm saying this very honestly. People don't talk about their brands and all these things that go behind. I'm very honest. So this is my thinking right now. Like, I have a lot of careers and employability knowledge, which is at luxurious level. So basically, I would say I'm at the Gucci of careers and employability advice. That's the story behind the color. And you could go and search on Google psychology of colors. It would give you a psychology like blue is all stability. So a lot of people who work in EDI use blue. There's blue and green as well. So these color EDI colors because that goes into that theme of work. So I think that's the biggest thing. Use PFP Maker for your profile photos.
I think that's a hint to you, Kavan. Change your color.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Number 5. Number 5, yeah. I think number 5 talks about headline.
Okay.
The last part of your top half. The headline, just underneath your name.
Is that job title or?
Sadly, that's what a lot of people believe, job title, because that's the default.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the default you get. So apparently, whenever you make a profile, the current thing that you're doing, that's your default headline. So if you're a student, we say student at Northampton, student at Birmingham or something. And if you are working somewhere, it will say blah, blah, blah person at this company.
Yeah.
People don't bother to change that, sadly. But LinkedIn allows you to change your headline, and that is where you could add the most amount of value for a person.
Danny, what's your headline?
My headline right now is all about all the best things I'm doing right now, which is my current job, career development at the University of Northampton. Then I'm a career futurist, all new technology. And then I am a career marketing and branding enthusiast.
Yeah.
And then some of the awards that I've won, I'm a social entrepreneur, that's there. And I'm a CIPD level 7 HR consultant. So all the best things I am standing for, all the best things I have in me, it's in my headline. If somebody comes to my headline, they would know what this guy is all about.
Rachel, what's your headline? Do you know?
I didn't even know you could put one. I thought probably just says accountant. Probably like
The default one?
Yeah, default.
Yeah. You could, so there's a small pencil icon when you go up to your profile.
Yeah.
You click that pencil icon and it will allow you to just change your headline. And the biggest advice for headline is it has to be screaming. It should be screaming your potential, your value that you could add in a prospective employer or in a business.
Don't laugh at my profile, Danny.
There you go. That's yeah.
Boring.
Boring. It's like, yeah, it's proper boring. And I would call it BB. It's a BB profile. Bland and boring. Yeah, it's bland and boring, literally.
I would show it on camera, but not yet.
Yeah. I'm
gonna update it after this.
Listen, my headline is podcast creator with the mic emoji. Because Danny, I got the emojis from you, facts. Race equity advocate and HE access and participation manager. So little bit boring, not gonna lie.
Nah, that does stand out, Kavan.
Let's see.
Yeah, look, it looks good, man.
Let's see.
Look at that.
It's the emoji in it.
Yeah, emojis work. Emojis definitely work, I think. So I think the biggest advice is to basically put the best stuff about you in the link, in the headline. Because I look at your picture, I'm like, wow, this guy is all about this field. I look at the picture, lovely, you're attracting me, you're giving me that implicit messages through your colors. And then I read your name, lovely, obviously have your own name.
Yeah.
And then I look at the headline, okay. In the headline, it should attract me and tell me the best things about you. Only then I'll decide to scroll down. So this decision of scrolling down, these 4 elements, the top half, that decides it.
Is it important as well when you are writing your headline and your headline mostly to be ambitious and maybe exaggerate what you are because of what you want to be? So for instance, I think mine even says speaker. I've done one speaking arrangement ever. Maybe that's a bit too honest, yeah. But like I want to be a speaker. So I'm putting speaker in there because
it's fine.
Yeah.
I think that is the premise of impression management. See, I always say this to my students. They do a lot of volunteer work for free. I'm like, the volunteer work that you're doing, somebody's getting paid to do that as well.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to know that. The best part about me being not native to UK, I see this from an outsider perspective. UK is an experience-based economy. It's not evidential.
Right.
Whatever you tell them, they believe it. So the way you tell them matters. Because in my country, I come from South Asia, so over there, when you go to interviews, when you apply for jobs, we take bundles of certificates to prove that we have done stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not like that here. So I'm not saying and asking you to lie, but stretching and framing the truth, that is legal and you could do it.
I love that. I love that.
Stretch the truth. And basically, and that's what everyone does. And it's very unlike British culture. People don't sell themselves well. They're like, I am who I am.
It is what it is.
I
Yeah.
am. Hence, isn't it a very easy market to excel in? I say that to every student that comes to me. I'm like, do you know the local population and the culture is very humble? Isn't it very easy for somebody to excel? All you need to do is just do 10% extra in your job and you'll be celebrated. Like you'll be the hero in that, the protagonist of that organization. And I'm not shying away in saying that. Look at me. I work at Northampton, right? Like in the past 6-7 months, done 4-5 events. There you go. I wasn't asked to do it. Was not part of my job description or specification, but I did it because that's my brand. That's how I do careers and employability.
That's who you are.
See, that's who I am. So isn't it very easier? I could have done one event and still get the applause. I've done 5. Beat that. See, that's what I say to people. I'm like every single student. I'm like, just go, just make it work and do something extra. So I'm like, you start a job, right?
Yeah.
And I see that a big problem. We're straying away from LinkedIn, but I think this is very important for people to know. I see a lot of people stay in their jobs for too long.
What's too long though?
Anything above 2 years is an eternity. It's an eternity for me. I change jobs very quickly. And I think new generation coming in, millennials and borderline, I consider myself to be a borderline Gen Z. Gen Zs and all. I think these guys would be changing jobs very quickly because nowadays the onus is not on the applicant to stay in an organization. It's on the organization to make them stay. So if they don't find the purpose anymore, it's more than a good reason to move on into a new job.
Yeah.
So hence, change jobs very quickly, and the only way you can do that is when you do actual work, extra, special, additional initiative taking in a job.
Add value.
Add value to stuff other than the 9-to-5 job description you were given. Anything that you do other than the JD, that is the value. I see a lot of people, because I help a lot of senior people in the industry as well for CVs and cover letters.
Yeah.
I get a CV which has like 15 years worth of experience. And they say, Danny, you know what? I have 15 years worth of experience. It's not working out. I'm like, and when I look at this CV, I'm like, sir, hello. Sorry. You don't have 15 years worth of experience. You only have 1 year worth of experience repeated 14 more times.
You know what? That's like my CV. Because as an accountant, and if you do move, you do the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But there is always room for doing something special. It's that the problem is you start working too much in the job, but not on the job. So these terms, you must have heard, working in the business, on the business. When you invest too much of yourself into the 9-to-5 operations and all, you take that too seriously, that's working in the job. At times you need to step back and see what else I can do. And there are so many chances of adding value. A process that you take to do some accounting work, maybe improve that process. One little change. There was one example, a person who was doing working in midwifery, right? Midwifery. Danny, what's the room of improvement in midwifery? I'm like, how could I stand out? I'm like, you do fill forms? I'm like, yeah. They said yes. Do you do a lot of computer work? They said yes. I'm like, maybe just remove one step in it. Maybe trying to make this process a bit faster. Little improvement, gradual or incremental improvement that you would make in your job. That is the extra value you're adding. So anyone can do that. So please don't be like that person who has 5 years worth of experience, but apparently they just have 1 year repeated 4 more times.
That's actually incredibly powerful.
I'm just thinking here like, my CV. Yeah, my CV is that same thing. So how do I change it?
So you look back, you still have chance. So it's that you don't have to go back and in a time machine and change all of that. You look at your past experience in a different lens now. So you go back and see what were those instances when I was asked to do something extra. those value addition stuff, and there must be something.
Okay.
There must be something you did out of the ordinary, out of your own initiative. Those things matter. So now when you apply for a job, or when I look at your CV and you come up with a new CV, I should not see a copy paste of the job description. That's the biggest crime. I see that in the description of all the experience section of students. They just copy paste the whole job description. I'm like, that's what you were paid to do. You had to do it. You had no other option. Give me the projects and extra stuff that you have done.
Okay.
You go to my LinkedIn, you look at my stuff. I don't describe my job at the University of Northampton as a career consultancy, do one-to-ones. I say I'm career rocketing students into the realm of success. There you go. And then I talk about all the events, the extra stuff that I do.
Yeah.
That's value. One-to-ones and doing in-class workshops as a career consultant, that's what I'm paid to do. That's nothing special. That's nothing special. So I think go back and look at your job from a different lens. What extra stuff that you have done, I think you'll find the answer to it.
Working in the job versus working on the job. That's going to be somewhere on my LinkedIn when I promote this episode, just so you all know. Danny,
Number six.
Number six.
Lucky number six. Number six is basically the argument, and a lot of people come to me and say, Danny, we have a great profile. So apparently they have made a great profile. Okay, lovely. Kudos to them. What to post?
Right.
They come to me, Danny, I have nothing to post. I'm not good enough to post. My life, sucks. I have nothing special in my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, first of all, that's a lie. Second, you're lazy. That's what sucks. You're being lazy. And then I ask them, okay, let's talk about students. Have you done coursework? They're like, yeah. I'm like, talk about your coursework. I'm doing this workshop in the class with you. Take a picture of me and write a caption. Say, oh, Danny, doing this workshop. I learned a lot today. There you go. That's your post. You get an article to read. Take a picture of the article and say, this is what I've learned from the article. Every single coursework, every single lecture that you do is building up your brand. So if you are an accounting and finance student, or if you're a marketing student or a logistic and supply chain student, anything that you do part of your degree and you put it on LinkedIn, that's a good enough post. It shows and builds your social relevance. So posting is not about making you look good. It's all about making your social relevance in the market. Are you relevant? The only way you become relevant is when you talk about the field you're in. Talking about the field basically means whatever you study, you talk about. Whatever you like, you have an opinion on it. Social relevance is all about that. So posting for the sake of social relevance is the plan.
Sorry, bro, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I just thought of something now, because I don't really post on LinkedIn. I like retweet, but repost. But I just thought of something to post probably because it's coming up. I think it's tomorrow within the week. As an accountant, is the budget. Budget's coming out. I think it'll be a good
Have an opinion?
Yeah.
Have an opinion on it?
I might do it,
I think they go.
Yeah.
These little things. Look at what's happening. Talk about AI. If you're into IT and all, talk about all the new advancements that's happening up. If you're in human resources, talk about how AI might change work. Midwifery, how technology can change midwifery. If you're talking about health, NHS, medical, you would always have something to talk about. And opinions gets you social relevance. And I think everyone is opinionated. I think if somebody comes to me and says, Danny, I have no opinion at all. I'm opinionless. That can never happen.
Yeah, you have to be wary of them people there.
You're not human. You're not human if you don't have any opinions.
They've got splinters in their bum because they sit on the fence. Yeah. So I think that's really interesting because obviously when we promote these episodes, we're always looking for a hook as well. So it might be International Women's Day. What women do we have on the network that we can share? It might be, but LinkedIn. There's an article that comes out about LinkedIn. We'll share this again. You know what I mean? There's diabetes awareness weeks and things like that. We share our episode on diabetes. All these things have social relevance. If we can attach an episode to that, people are interested. So yeah.
Just to add on to this, I'll make it even easier for our lovely audience. So if you do not want to post about the field you're in, post about anything and I'll tell you how. Hobbies, right? Who play games? Some games?
Yeah, I play games, yeah.
You play Call of Duty or something like that?
Yeah,
You must have played it. Usually Call of Duty would have a mode called Capture the Flag, right? It's a life lesson. I say if you're playing Capture the Flag, take a picture of you playing with the headsets and everything and said that Capture the Flag teaches me a life lesson. Until unless you kill somebody and capture the flag in the game, nobody cares for you. The time you capture the flag, you show up on everyone's map and everyone is after you. Isn't that a life lesson? Until unless you're successful, nobody cares. The time you become successful, everyone tries to put you down.
That's true. Yeah.
So even playing a game and doing your hobby, you can post about it. Baking. A lot of young girls give me the example. I love to bake. I'm like, proper baking shows attention to detail. Such a relevant skill in the market. One ingredient goes wrong, the baking item doesn't turn out the way it should.
Yeah, I made some cookies on Friday. They're
Yeah.
rubbish.
Yeah, you'll burn them or the cake won't rise. Just the way the cake won't rise. I think in real world, if you're not attentive to detail, you won't rise in the job. You won't rise in the organization. So your hobbies, anything goes on LinkedIn only if you look at it from a different lens. So you can definitely post after today. There is no excuse. You're just being lazy.
So today's question to the audience is: after these 6 tips and 4 more to go, how will you rise?
Lovely.
Number 7.
Number
yeah.
7, and my favorite of all. Do you know a platform just has beaten Google as the most used platform in the world? There are more people using that platform than Google right now.
What's
TikTok.
TikTok.
Okay, TikTok, yeah.
There you go. So full points to you. Come on. TikTok has just beaten Google as the most platform. So basically, there should be more people using Google because our browsers are hardwired to search Google.
Yeah.
We Google everything.
Yeah,
so
you
there are
do.
more people on TikTok than on Google. So the platform is not important.
How does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Apparently, there are more people using that. But the point I'm trying to make is that TikTok is not important. The medium is video. People love to see things. Then they love to read. And even psychology talks about it. People remember 80% of what they see and only 20% of what they read.
Right.
So, hence that's why we remember the story of our favorite movies. An article that we read, we'll forget about it in like a week's time. So, play to your advantage. And point number 7 is that videofy yourself. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Lovely audience.
And I-
Podcasting.
And
Video.
I felt some eyes because I was meant to sort out TikTok a couple of weeks ago for our podcast. I felt some eyes for a moment. I could feel it.
Yeah, well, you know.
Please sort it out, guys.
yeah, we'll do.
So yeah, videofy yourself. And in today's world, people come to me, Danny, I'm not comfortable in making videos. I'm like, you cannot escape videos in today's world. Teams, Zoom, you go to work, everything is happening through a webcam. You cannot hide. Graduate schemes to any job you apply. The second stage is a video interview, that too a pre-recorded one, where there is no human being on the other end. That's happening. So you record yourself with your webcam.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah. And there is no way to escape video in today's world. Hence, use that to your advantage. Give them something to look at. Give them to see you in action.
I know someone who went through an interview process and they had questions given to them, and then the software, you couldn't retake. Yeah, you've got 3 minutes to answer these questions. You can't retake. It's live. You say what you say and you move on.
There you go.
There's no, I messed up. No, go now.
It's like Mission Impossible. This question will self-destruct in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And you have to do it. And it is. And that's every graduate job right now in the market. The second stage after psychometric testing, if you pass that, is this video interview, which is AI monitored. And nobody even looks at it. So apparently AI will review it.
Wow.
And
Crazy times.
trust me, and if you are not being you, and that's the biggest advice about videofying yourself. People think, Danny, I'm not a video person. I don't have a video personality. That's where you have that personality, Danny. You are that comic guy and, full of character. I'm like, that is me. I'm not faking it up. So the biggest misconception people think is you need to have a video personality. They come to me, Danny, is my video good or bad? I'm like, oh my God, video is not good or bad. It's original. It's who you are.
Yeah.
So there is no way to act in a video. The quality of the video or whatever, nobody cares for. What they care for is your originality. If you're being you, and showing your personality, whoever you are. No matter if you're an introvert or an extrovert, or if you're a data scientist who doesn't even pick up their head while talking, it's fine. That's who you are. That's your brand. And don't you want to get hired in a job and get employed for who you are? So if you videofy yourself, and the future is video cover letters, video CVs.
I'd love that.
Yeah, I do that for all of my jobs. I recently applied for a lot of jobs in January last year. 12 jobs, and I made 12 bespoke, customized videos. Customized video for every damn job.
I never knew that was a thing. Video CV.
I applied for a job not so recently.
Is it the...
Just in case anyone's listening. And part of the process was you can either submit a cover letter, which boring, or you can submit a video answering 3 questions as to why you should have the job and so on and so forth. I did the video.
There you go.
Obviously, I didn't get the job, but here we are.
But do the video. You know, a lot of people come to me and say, Danny, when we make a video, won't that be a bit too advanced and a bit too much for some of the industries? I'm like, first of all, if you can make videos and if you're showing off your personality, so remember one thing. If I do get rejected when I send the videos at times, but that's like a bullet I dodged. Because if somebody cannot handle Danny in a video, they can't handle Danny in the real world. So get hired on your own terms. That's where video helps you. Show them who you are before the interview. Because a lot of people show something else in the CV. They go to the interview. They're like, oh, and the interviewers are like, oh, I thought this person would be a bit different. So isn't it better to save your time and the recruiter's time? Show yourself in action. This is who I am. If you want me like this, call me for an interview.
That's very interesting because you touched on something there that I always try to remind myself and my friends, it's not a rejection, it's a redirection.
Yes.
And also what's crucial there is, you're right, you want to show your authentic self, right? Because you don't want to missell yourself to others, and you don't want to also put yourself in a situation where you actually wouldn't fit in, you were compromising yourself. But I feel like, particularly when thinking about the student market, there's perhaps a desperation I would have had when I was 21 versus, like, I don't have that desperation now. If I apply for a job, it's prospective. It's, if I get it, great. If I don't get it, I'm okay. I'll survive and I'll still be able to do what I do. But there is a definite distinction to be made between those who are 21 and need a job here and now.
That's
so
true,
I will fake it. And if you tell me you need me to jump, I don't like jumping, but I'll jump because I need the money. I need the money. But now I don't need the money. I'll be okay. So I'll put my best foot forward.
There you go. And I do say that a lot of the first 2 jobs a graduate would get would be circumstantial. They'll get it out of circumstance, whatever they are in, which is fine. But the crime is to stay in them for too long. So if you are in a job for more than 2 years, now that's where the problem starts. You become complacent. So it's fine to get a job out of circumstance, but have that in your mind that you need to move away and get a job on your own terms. Only then you'll be happy in the job. The why I'm in careers. You see my energy when I work. Look at my videos on LinkedIn and stuff. Why am I the way I am? Because I love it. Every single day I'm like, yeah, let's go to work. This would only come when you love your job. And that would only come when you get a job on your own terms. So when I get rejected out of interviews, I thank them. I'm like, thank you. You cannot handle me. There you go. Simple as that. When I go to interviews after sending a video to them, I don't say to myself, am I prepared for the interview? I say, is the interview prepared for me? Is the interview ready for me? Am I ready for the interview? No. Is the interview ready for me? That's the thing people need to worry now.
Danny's like The Apprentice, when Alan Sugar's like, you're fired. And he's like,
no, you're fired. How can you find me? I left.
Love it.
Number 8, is it?
Yeah,
number 8. I think let's get down to talking about algorithms.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah, algorithms is basically when you post stuff and use that to your advantage. Basically, algorithm is the artificial intelligence that runs and rates post and whatever you make. How much reach would you have? Will you go viral? In simple words, will you go viral? And those are algorithms. Algorithms decides that. So every year, LinkedIn, in a very hidden way, releases a report called the Algorithm Report. A lot of great influencers on LinkedIn do a summary report on it. That's something I read as well. I read the real report as well, which talks about whatever has happened in terms of algorithms, how they have changed it.
Yeah. So
it's a big report, but I'll try to read some of the things that our audiences can really take benefits of. So basically, a lot of you might not know that when to post. when to post. So I think what the algorithms tell us in the last year, what has happened is Saturday mornings from 9 to 11, and then Wednesday mornings 9 to 11, and then evenings on Monday. They have been the best times for the majority of people to get maximum reach. When I say majority, apparently some of my posts I have posted on other times have been successful as well. So these are two ways to do it. Either you go by the mainstream knowledge, which is algorithms, or you go back in the analytics. LinkedIn allows you to check your analytics of every single post. You go and see which one of your posts is the most successful. What was the time? Maybe your niche wakes up at that time. That's the time when they look at your post, or look at some other reasons as to why that post was successful. Look at the tags. So talking about tags, hashtags, I've seen people write 11, 12, 20 tags, hashtagging like it's like death by hashtags. Like there's less content and more hashtags in the profile, in the post. The biggest problem with that is algorithms hates it.
Really?
Because when you use anything above 5, it thinks you're spamming.
Oh.
So it does not allocate your post to any of those hashtags. Does not give you reach within those hashtags. What is the reason for hashtags? Because people follow hashtags.
Yeah.
So when you use a certain hashtag, people who follow that hashtag, your post will show to them. When you put anything above 5, the reach is only one person to each of those hashtags.
I just want to let the audience know Cavani's stressed after hearing that.
So try not just use.
Hey, at least you know now. At least you know.
And
now.
that's
Take
what
that
we're
away.
here. That's what
Take
we're here.
that
We're
away.
here to
Take that
learn.
away.
We're here to learn.
Yeah, every day is a school day.
I never knew
There you
that.
go.
I never did. But nowadays you see a lot of more hashtags on LinkedIn than Twitter nowadays.
There you go.
It's
There you
true.
go.
So,
It's true.
Danny, one thing I want to pick up on, because often I'll tag Rochelle in a post about the podcast, and he might respond, he might not. He doesn't comment though. He rarely comments.
I like
Is that a problem?
It's a very big problem. Tag wisely.
Tag wisely.
Tag wisely. Please tag wisely, because if you tag people for the sake of just tagging, if they don't open up your profile, your post is dead. If they open it up, they look at it and don't comment, your reach is half.
Oh my god.
Half the reach if your people who you've tagged don't comment or even don't like. So please tag wisely. That's the biggest thing. Maybe tag the people and just send them a message. Please comment.
So Rochelle, any reflections, any thoughts?
No, I've commented. I'll probably do more now next time. Innit?
But yeah, I think make sure people.
Do you know what it was? I didn't comment on it because he put too much hashtags, so I just clocked.
Okay.
So he doesn't like
Yeah.
he don't like those kind of posts where you put a lot of things.
Sorry,
I think let's talk about some other algorithms. So you see a lot of influencers put up selfies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of not senior people. I was about to say old, but senior people on this is a safe space. So apparently a lot of senior people don't like it. Like, yeah, come on, don't turn LinkedIn into another Instagram or something. But that's what algorithms love.
I don't like selfies, you know.
Selfies have 3 times more reach than any other post type on LinkedIn.
Let's get a selfie after this then, yeah?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So any selfie or any video which has you in it. So videos of where you are the main focus and selfies where you are in it, that has 3 times more reach than any other performer.
Wow.
And then if you look at written post, like just text post, they are the last in terms of reach.
Damn.
But isn't it about context, or does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter. It's just that they would get the written post would get reach. What I'm saying is that comparison to other things, it would have less reach.
Okay.
So, for example, if somebody makes a good influencer, has a good following, makes a text post, it would have like 100 likes. Whereas if that person puts up a selfie, that would have 500 likes. So even 100 like is something. The post is not dead. Written post has its value, but I think always it has some sort of media with it.
Yeah.
Videos is amazing. I do that a lot. So videos really help you get amazing reach. And so just make sure you take care of these algorithm stuff. And one of the last things I would say, don't write essays on LinkedIn. I've seen really long posts. The ideal number is 1200 to 600 characters, not words.
I thought you were going to say words though.
Well,
but
so that's an
that's long.
essay. That's like an essay which needs to be graded. But I think 1200 to 600 characters, that is around, I think, 300 to 400 words maybe, or something, or less than that. I think this is what would give you maximum reach. I'm guilty of using more, and I have seen the repercussions. Some of the posts which are, one of my posts which is very long, amazing post with a video, has less reach.
Is there a minimum?
Minimum is anything around 400 to 500 characters.
Okay, so any less than that is problematic as well.
It's problematic. There's no context. AI doesn't like it.
Okay.
It's a spam. It's something with no context.
Crazy.
What's the word? You came, you dropped, you went away.
Yeah.
You dropped a bomb, you went away. There you go.
Speak about that a little bit more, because when we spoke about this off air, you mentioned about how if you literally post and go,
Oh yeah.
LinkedIn's going to say no. That's not good. You got to post, engage with some other people, interact, comment, like, get involved, so LinkedIn knows you're an active user, not just a user.
Exactly, and that was the last thing I was about to talk in algorithms, which is engage with 3 posts prior to posting and 3 posts after posting. Within the 15-minute range. So 15 minutes before you post, 3 posts, engage with other people's posts. Engaging means commenting, liking stuff, and then after you post 15 minutes, within the 15-minute range, comment and like other people's post. So it shows that you didn't just come and drop your thing and went away. So that's the biggest thing you should know. And one of the last things I would say, like, you have a thing to add on to that.
No. I'm just sitting here like I never knew that. It's crazy.
See these
isn't it?
things, and so if you see me commenting on people's posts, I'm about to post something. I'm about to drop something.
I don't really like your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
really
here.
love this post. No, I don't. I'm doing it for reach. But I think it's
love
fine.
it.
It's fine. Let's be honest about these things. Everyone loves reach and exposure. I think one of the last things I would say in algorithms is basically 2 things. Don't post links in your thingies. Don't post links of external websites.
Finished.
You're just stressing Gavin out even more.
In the text, don't post it in the text.
Okay.
If you post a video or a picture through your phone, your phone LinkedIn app gives you an option to attach a link to the media.
Okay.
So when you post a video, there's usually an option to attach a URL which shows up on the video and it's clickable. It's like a hyperlink
Instead of actual linked.
in the
text.
body of the text.
Okay.
Don't do that. It kills reach. And and don't be the first person to post or comment on your post.
Oh my God.
Please, it'll be like, I've forgotten to tag a few important people. Let's just tag them in the comments. Please don't do that. Kills the reach.
Is it because
I did that yesterday.
the AI thinks you're just spamming
you're
people?
spamming your own post
Yeah.
and just to get more reach, and it doesn't like that. It
You
doesn't
know
like
what? I prefer when humans were involved in all of this. Yeah, AI is obviously against the akhi&saltfish digital network.
But now we know.
Now we know, and we will improve our practice, because
Yep.
this is not about learning what you're doing wrong and being down in the dumps. This is learning about what you could be doing better and getting better with Danny Mirza. Let's go.
Change is the only constant, and
Cheers.
you could have no excuse to improve. I think we live in a VUCA environment, and I'll go down to number 9. Number 9 is what we talked about earlier, which is use of emojis.
Yeah.
A big point of discussion with me and a lot of academics, everyone around. I work in higher education. I use emojis in my professional emails every single time. Rockets and lightnings and God knows what. I use that, and so there is a big reason for that. We use emojis in our WhatsApp with our friends and
Yeah.
everything.
100%.
Why do we do it? To put context and emotions, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we do it in professional circumstances? What have we become? Are we robots?
Robots.
Are we robots? Don't we have emotions? Do we not have to bring emotions to our work? Do we have to leave our emotional self at home? This talk about emotional intelligence at workplace, what is that? And we're afraid to use emojis, whereas we do that with our friends. Even at our workplace, we'll use it on WhatsApp, but won't use it in our in our professional communications and comms and correspondence. Do that. It adds value. It shows emotions. So if you do it right, it brings a smile on the next person. A lot of people who wouldn't like it are the people who can't do it themselves. And I've seen a lot of people, and half the time, we are too concerned about pleasing people with what they want. Give them what you are. Give them who you are. So emojis, use them in professional communication. Use them on LinkedIn, on your post, everything. One reason is humans would enjoy this. Gives them some emotion, something to look at. Plus AI loves it. So AI knows the context of every emoji. So the reason I use Rocket is basically AI would consider me to be a person very energetic and very spontaneous. So emojis have some implicit messages attached to it for AI to read as well. And I think this is something LinkedIn is already working on. The next LinkedIn algorithm report would have a section on emojis as well, because a lot of people have started using it very vigorously now. So emojis would have things, have reach attached to it. Using less emojis will give you less reach because it doesn't add any context, doesn't make your post any better. It's a very dull post without emojis. So try and use emojis. I use them in all my higher education, academics, everywhere. Higher education, is considered to be a very
Proper.
old school.
Yeah.
I would say I won't be shy in saying old school. It's a very old school profession if you look at it. Higher education, very laid back and all. But I still use it. I still use emojis. Here, there you go. If somebody stops me, how would they stop it? They would give me this argument of, it's not professional. And you know what my reply would be?
Yeah.
What define professionalism, please? Do you have a definition? Please quote somebody, and there will be a billion definitions of professionalism. And the best outcome would be it's relative. I am who I am, and this is what you hired me for. Hence, my applications, my CVs, everything has emojis. Because give them who you are, then you get hired on your terms, and I think that would legitimize your use of emojis.
Get hired on your terms.
Yes, get hired on your terms, and emojis add a lot of emotions. And yeah.
Right, so before we get to number 10, Rachel, any reflections?
I'm surprised. I just didn't know any of all of that. Like, I'm really surprised with all these tips that you've given us, and some of the stuff. I didn't know how crazy AI is nowadays.
It is proper.
It looks
and
at everything.
It is. It looks at everything, and everything is AI based in today's world. Look at ChatGPT. ChatGPT 4 has just been launched while we are talking right now. Just now, and 30 minutes ago, ChatGPT 4 has been launched. If you do not know what ChatGPT 3 is, basically, it's an AI platform where you could have a dialogue with AI. ChatGPT 4 has been launched, and it's a billion times better than ChatGPT 3.
Wow.
It's crazy now. So definitely, I think AI is the future. It would be involved in every single job that we do. I think there's no way running away from it. It's better to know more about it.
Lean into it, yeah.
Lean into it and use that to your advantage. I think AI is always as good as the prompt we give AI. So I think one advice that I would give, which is irrelevant to LinkedIn, is the future, the person who would be the most powerful person in the future, most influential person, would be the person who would control the narrative through prompts.
Of AI, because
AI.
AI is built by someone.
Yes, yeah. So the prompt people who could make the best kind of prompts, because AI will do what you will ask it to do, and would only do it better if you have a better prompt. So I think even right now while we're speaking, there are people who are running this business who are selling prompts. So how to phrase a question to AI, it's a skill now.
Right.
I think this would be a skill embedded in every job in 10 years' time. I think if you work as a careers consultant, you work in a bank, there'll be AI systems there. So I think you would need to put questions to AI to do something. It will help you do your job faster, but it can only do when you know how to ask. Yeah. So the most influential employees and people and students would be the people who would know the right kind of prompts and questions to ask to AI. So you've heard it here first.
We might have to get you as like a technology consultant, man, because damn.
Yeah, you know everything. Come this.
Grow him. Right, number 10.
Number 10, commandment number 10.
Let's go.
I think, which is one of my favorite ones, is to basically, you're on LinkedIn, have a great profile, you're posting, what else? And the term is LinkedIn espionage. Follow the people, see what other people are posting, use that to your advantage. Be a bond on LinkedIn, and I'll share my examples. The best part about LinkedIn is employees, people working for companies, they overshare. They share their successes. They share their current stuff, which is something you won't find on the websites of the company.
Right.
When you're making your applications, when you're making, preparing for your interviews, follow the people for those organizations. The best use of the LinkedIn network is LinkedIn espionage, where you go and see what people are liking. Go to their activity tab. Not just what they post. What are they liking? I'll give you an example. When I go to interviews, I try to follow and connect with everyone in that organization.
Yep, facts.
For example, I apply for a career development role, career consultants role. I would follow all the career consultants, the heads, the associate, everyone, and see what they're sharing. So first of all the current stuff they'll be sharing. When I go to, for example, the university's website, it won't be updated there. Things on the website are updated annually, if you look at it, or maybe biannually at max. So that's obsolete information. And you cannot use that to prepare yourself for anything. That's obsolete. Everyone can do that. You follow people, and I did that. And whenever I go to interviews, I already know what are the names of the workshops, events that these people are doing there. I phrase my interview along those lines. I'm like, oh, I've seen you guys do this workshop. I think it could be better. They're like, how do you know about it? I'm like, yeah, that career consultant talked about it in that post. Oh, amazing. Look at the impression you're giving them. That you are proper into this job. You really want to make a difference. So that's how you stand out in today's world. Don't go and say, I'm amazing for this job. No. Tell them how your amazingness can help them become better. And for that, LinkedIn espionage. See what they're sharing. Go down to what they're liking. Once there was an interview and I saw the head of careers in that particular organization was not posting anything, was a proper LinkedIn ghost, but was liking a lot of stuff. So I checked that out and I was like, what does she like? She was liking a lot of EDI things. So now and I was preparing for the interview, so I could not have changed my application. And there was nothing around EDI in my application. I'm like, okay, she loves EDI. How would I do that? Now I know that she loves EDI and she's on the panel. What I did was, okay, I need to find a way to, put EDI, inject EDI in some of my answers in some shape or form. Now that I know the preferences of all the people sitting in the panel, I just need to find a way. So in one of the questions they ask you, they said, it was a random question. They said, okay, tell me more about, and the whole interview was about to finish and I could not inject EDI. I didn't get the chance. And they asked me, okay, tell me a time when you went for a holiday and you really enjoyed it. We just want to know, how do you do holidays? I'm like, there you go. Let's add this here. I'm like, okay, last year I went to Pakistan. And you know what, this time around, I went there and spent a lot of time with some charitable organizations just to see the people who are below poverty. What do they lack? All of those things. And see, and then I will feel contented in where I stand and how I can contribute in those people's life and make it a more inclusive place for them to live. I did some charity with them, some charity work when they provided some food parcels to those poor people. So just to help them feel more inclusive to the environment. Hence, I think my trip was for fun, but it took an EDI turn.
Yeah.
And I saw the eyebrows of that head went up and like, whoa, wow.
You got the job.
Yeah, and I did. There you go. That was my second last job before this one. And there you go. So one eyebrow raise, you get the job. One eyebrow raise. You see that enlightenment in their eyes. Their eyes lit up when you talk about the stuff they care. And LinkedIn espionage is the way to do this. People share, like stuff all the time. Use that to your advantage.
I never thought of that. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
I've looked on people's profiles, but I never looked deep into it.
Yeah, I've not gone into the level of detail in terms of
posts
what
and
they've liked.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes in an interview, when it becomes a bit natural and you're just talking like normal stuff, you can throw in a bit of, like for example, football or anything like that. Get related to them a little bit. Yeah.
See what clubs they like. What things do they like. I think use that to your advantage. I'm not saying like figure up completely.
Yeah.
But you having that awareness of what they like can
important.
really guide your discussion and would make you control the interview. So LinkedIn espionage will help you control the interview because you would know who are the people sitting in front of you, what they like.
Right, so let's do a recap. 1 to 10. What are the top 10 LinkedIn tips?
Lovely. So number one, I think whatever the understanding that you have about LinkedIn needs to change. Anything goes on LinkedIn. It's not very professional. Number two is don't use LinkedIn as an extended version of your CV. It's for personal branding. Number three is basically your top half needs to be top notch. The cover photo has to give some value to you. Number four, profile photos. You don't need a DSLR for profile photos. Use PFP Maker, have a colored background, play with the psychology of colors. Number five, your headline. Your headline should scream the best things you have in your life. And number six is what to post. So you have a lot of things to post, from your academic stuff to your hobbies. Talk about anything. Give some value to the reader. Number seven, videoify yourself. TikTok has just beaten Google, so you have no excuse. Everyone loves to see stuff. Make them see yourself in action. Number eight, play with algorithms. The algorithm report comes out every time. Just go on the search bar and LinkedIn. Just go and search algorithms. You'll see a lot of summary post. Number nine would be basically make use of emojis. Emojis is the future, shows emotions, and you need emotional intelligence at work. And number 10, as I said, LinkedIn espionage. So these are 10 tips, top tips, I would say 10 commandments to literally rock your LinkedIn.
Damn.
Thank you.
And there we have it. A fantastic episode of Before Our Friends Die on the akhi&saltfish Digital Network. You've been joined by me, Kavan.
Me, Rash.
And the fantastic Danny Mirza. Make sure you go ahead and connect with him on, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Go connect with him. He's got some great content. And you just heard there the 10 commandments to supercharge your LinkedIn right here, right now. Get active, get on it. If you want to get in touch with us and share any questions or thoughts with us, please do email akhi&saltfish@gmail.com. And don't forget, we're on Instagram at Before Our Friends Die Pod. And we're on Twitter at akhi&saltfish. Please get in touch, leave us your comments. And don't forget, on whatever platform you're listening to this on, like it, comment, subscribe, follow, leave a 5-star review, all those great things. We really appreciate it, because guess what? We need to supercharge the algorithm too. Finally, don't forget to tune in next week where we get to know Danny with our 7 signature questions. Take care and goodbye.
Thanks, Danny, man. Appreciate it.